Hey guys, I'm Cara, aka The Pretty Little Lawyer, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you like what you see, and if you learned something, I hope you'll stick around. If this is not your first time here, thank you so much for coming back, and if you're a subscriber, thank you again. We're gonna get right into the content today because I'm gonna be talking about how to prepare for the perfect girls trip. So this is a personal one for me because in 2 days, I am on my way to San Juan with some of my best friends from college and law school. This is my first girls trip since COVID, so there's a lot riding on this trip. All the expectations are high, everyone's so excited. So I'm gonna share with you some of the things that we did to make sure that we have a good time together. My first tip for planning the perfect girls trip is to make sure that you have the right group. I've already started with the biggest tip. This is the one. This will make all the other tips work well. If you don't do this, nothing that you do will fix that trip. So I didn't even hide the ball. I started right out of the gate with the most important thing, and that's making sure that you have a good group. So one of the things that I like to do when I'm planning a group trip is to make sure that each person knows at least one other person in the group. So for me, this tends to be easy because I've always merged my friend groups. So whenever I have a birthday or whenever I go out of town with a group of people, I always try to make sure that everybody gets to know each other. So I actually have a group of friends that gets together every Friday. We've been doing it throughout the entire pandemic, and we get together online, we chit chat about the week, we chit chat about social things, anything that we've been watching on TV, anything that's going on in each other's lives. And these are a group of friends from every period in my life. So I have a friend on there from college, from law school, from when I was working in New York. I had friends on there from high school. So these people have also traveled with me. When I had my 30th birthday, all of these people were in a house with me. It was me and I think 16 of my closest friends and my cousins all in this house together. So people who have known me all my life or recently met me all got together and got to know each other. So this makes it easy for when I want to have a group trip to make sure that at least everybody knows one person on the trip. On this particular trip, I'm going with one of my best friends from college. She actually went to grad school in Philadelphia when I was in law school and State College. So she would come up sometimes on the weekends, or I would go down to Philly, and she got to know a lot of my law school friends. So on this particular trip, I'm going with her and 2 of my best friends from law school. It's gonna be an awesome trip, but the vibes are already set. Everybody knows each other and has known each other for almost 10 years. So there's not gonna be any of that awkward, I only know one person vibe, I have to stick with my one friend. Everybody can kind of flow together as a group. But as a rule of thumb, I always make sure that everybody knows at least one other person besides me. My second tip is that you set expectations for the trip. So when you're planning a trip, it is so important to get the group together, everyone who's going on the trip, and sit down and talk about what everyone expects from the trip. Is this a group that just wants to go and relax? Is this a group who wants to plan every minute of the trip? Or is this a group that falls somewhere in between? It's always pretty easy to do that when you have a larger group because those people who just want to chill can hang out together, and those people who want to go can hang out together, and then those who are in the middle can kind of fall where they fall. But when you have a smaller group, it's really important to sit down and talk about those things. So for this trip, my friends and I, at first, were just planning excursions. And finally, one day, 2 of us on the very same day mentioned that we looked at the schedule. It didn't really seem like we had any time to relax. And that was something that we needed. So we cut back on some of the excursions we hadn't already paid for, and we scheduled some time just to be at this beautiful resort that we're staying at and paying for so that we could enjoy that time there. The resort has a private beach, it has a spa, It has a great pool. It has all of these things that we can take advantage of when we're just relaxing. So even though we only have 4 days, we want to do as much as we can. We also want to take advantage of the fact that this is a vacation and the first that most of us have had since COVID. So just make sure that you know what the vibe is going to be for the trip and that you've discussed it with everyone who's going to attend. Super important, and it'll make your trip go a lot smoother when you arrive. My third tip is to plan the trip. So when you're going by yourself, it's easier to kind of go with the flow. But when you're traveling with a group, it's easier to let everybody kind of know what to expect when they arrive. So planning the trip takes preparation, making sure that you've done the research about where you're going and what the popular attractions are that you might want to see. For us, we started looking at things relatively early. We decided what we wanted to do and what excursions we wanted to see and what we all agreed on, and then we started planning it. Now, we booked these tickets in January. We planned what we wanted to do in the following months, and then we didn't start booking the excursions until about last week. So, make sure you research how popular these attractions are. Avoid the mistake that we made in waiting until a week, I think it was 2 weeks. I'll give us 2 weeks. 2 weeks before your trip, because you might not be able to do everything that you have planned if you haven't booked things. So we are going to San Juan and we are going to miss the Bacardi factory. Personally, it's not a huge loss for me as I prefer tequila, but it would have been something exciting to do that we're not going to be able to do because those tickets sell out. So if there's something that you know that's a popular attraction in the place that you want to go, and it's a limited type of thing, something that you need tickets for, plan that and book those tickets so that you're not missing out on opportunities that you want. So my final tip is just to try to remain positive. Remember that you are on vacation and this does not have to be a stressful experience. Hopefully you're with your friends or at least a group that's keen to travel and you guys can all have a good time. Things are gonna happen, things are gonna go wrong, someone's gonna forget their Dramamine pills, flights are gonna get delayed, anything could happen, but try to stay in the moment and enjoy where you are. Not everyone gets to travel, so if you are with your best friends or with a group that you've decided to pick up and go with, the least you can do to make the experience great for everyone around you and for yourself is to remain positive. Alright guys, so thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you learned something, and if you did and you're not already subscribed, now's your perfect opportunity to make sure you hit that subscribe button below and become a part of this community. If you are already subscribed and you haven't hit that notification bell, how will you know when I post new videos? I'm always here every Wednesday at 10 a.m., but sometimes I might sneak another video in there on you. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you know whenever I post a new video. And as always, I'll see you next week.